Once upon a time, in a land very, very, very near to where you stand today, there was a field of carrots. Now, when you find a field of carrots, it usually means only one thing and one thing only. It means that there is a population of carrot-eating folk dwelling in the nearby vicinity. Or so it may seem. In this particular situation, the fact happened to correlate to the supposed outcome. And there really was a population of carrot-eating people dwelling nearby. So there was a hill, and when you went up that hill, there was a little group of houses. And those houses were made from a particular material that you get when you chop down a certain type of large plant that's very hard at the base and very frilly at the top. Some people in the Occidental regions refer to these plants as trees, but let's not get too pretentious now, shall we? These people lived in their so-called tree houses, and they were very normal, content people. Among them, though, there was a very strange character. Now, this particular fellow was not of the carrot-eating variety. He preferred things such as potato chips and stewed cabbage and things that really made the carrot-eating folk so disgustingly appalled that they ostracized this man absolutely to the last, and he was not included in any of the town's affairs, such as the Carrot Festival or the carrot throwing competitions or the pin the tail on the carrot sort of things. So he was an outcast, a total loser in the eyes of the slightly orange-skinned, carrot-eating, loving folk. And this man was slightly gnomish in stature. He was small and chubby and had large bags under his eyes and, kind of greasy skin and tufts of grey, waspish hair that he never really brushed but never really cut, so it was just growing out like a cloud at the side of his head. He was rather repulsive to look at. To be honest with you, I wouldn't sustain a conversation with this man. Me being, the cloud god that is telling this story. So, as it happens, this man is standing in the field of carrots that I just described to you very, very shortly ago. This man is standing there, and he's looking, as you would probably assume, rather suspicious. Does he have anybody with him? No, he never has anybody with him, and that is what makes this so confusing for the townsfolk. Why? Because he is standing in the field of carrots that is everything to them. And he is not just standing there, he is standing there armed with a shovel and a hoe. "What the fuck is he doing?" said one of the townsfolk. "Is he gonna fucking dig up all our carrots before the harvest season?" one of the other townsfolk said. And of course, those are the thoughts that would enter one's mind when seeing this situation. But of course, they were wrong. They were so terribly wrong. In fact, this man was making a sort of pact to the spirit of the land, so to speak. He wanted, more than anything in the world, he wanted a friend. Just a friend. Not a whole bounty of friends, not even a wife. He's not even asking for a party or some kind of social group to make him feel whole. He's just asking for someone to listen to him, someone to talk to and make silly jokes with and, practice his silly fighting skills and his silly stories on every once in a while. And, to drink tea with and maybe even share his boiled cabbage and potato chips with, if they so pleased to deviate from their carrot diet. So that is what he was doing on this field. And you can hardly blame him. The poor devil has been alone for years, ever since his only other cabbage-eating fellow died. He's been completely destitute. So he's here, and he has his hoe, and he has his spade, because, of course, the metal in those tools are good conductors of energy, and energy is what is needed in this kind of exchange. So, they still wonder. They're actually gathered now at the edge of the field, and he has not noticed them because he is so wrapped up in his own little world that he doesn't see the slightly orange-skinned folk at the edge of the field gathering little pieces of wood to potentially start a flaming mob if things get out of control. So they're standing there thinking, what the fuck? Are we going to have to kill this bastard? Are we going to have to take this man down? And the man in the field by himself, he's thinking, shit, is this really going to work? I mean, I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but maybe if I just stand here and say a few words or something, if maybe I hold up the hoe or something, it might make a difference. So the man proceeded to take this garden tool and raise it up to the sky in a very, very professional manner. And, of course, this roused the crowd, who were just flummoxed by seeing such a holy gesture, one might say. And so they thought, are you fucking serious? Here he goes. He's going to plunge that thing into the ground, and we strike. But, of course, he didn't plunge it into the ground. He only proceeded to lift it higher and higher until his arm was terribly sore from being so extended straight up. But he felt something, and that kept him with his hoe standing there. He felt a wave, a pulsation of energy going through his weak little flabby body. And there he had it. A little spark, right in his heart. He felt it. And he knew the pact had been made. And that's all that needed to be done. And so he put down his garden tools, neatly stacked on top of one another, and he walked off, not even looking behind him as the disappointed crowd put down their makeshift weapons and hummed and huffed and sighed. And this little man, this little gnomish fellow, he decided he would walk down the hill because something in his heart was telling him to that. So he did. He walked into the marshy, wettish landscape of murky skies and field upon field upon field of carrot, until finally he came to a little gate, only wide enough for one man to fit through, and it was painted black, and he liked that. It seemed rather a nice touch. So he opened it, and of course it creaked so loudly that a cow nearby mooed at him, and that didn't bother him too much. So he proceeded on, and he kept walking down this stony path into this valley of sorts. There were all these falling rocks on either side of him, and he thought, oh, I haven't ventured this far before. It's fucking great. Oh my god, like, it's actually fucking beautiful. Are you fucking serious? I've been up there with those stupid carrot heads, and there's all this lovely walks around here, and there's even some trails and stuff. Shit. Those were the thoughts on his mind as he walked and walked and walked. And finally, he came to another group of shacks. No. It can't be. I never knew there was another shack here. I never fucking knew there was another shack here. He began to get quite distressed because, his fundamental beliefs about the world were being challenged, to say the least. Completely uprooted, overturned, thrown to the dust and stamped on by angry foes. Though it wasn't all so bad. Because, the fellow smelt a familiar smell coming from the chimney of one of these tree-made shacks. No way! They got the fucking cabbage soup going! No way! Yes, way. There were indeed people inside these shacks cooking his favorite meal on this planet, cabbage soup. He could hardly hold himself together. Was this the moment that he'd been waiting for? And so he thought it might not ever come another chance to meet someone who shared his fundamental values of cabbage. So he took the chance, and he walked up to that door that had that aromatic wonder sprawling from its chimney, and he knocked 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. And then he heard a voice. Come in then. Oh, so he did. He opened the door, and the smell only intensified, making him even more excited. And then he stood there, he got inside, and he looked around, and he couldn't see anyone. And he thought, okay. So he decided to announce himself. Hello there. I was just walking by, and I couldn't help notice that you had some kind of nice smell coming out of your house. I'm not gonna lie. It's you're kind of cooking my favourite meal in the world, and I've never met anyone else who likes cabbage so much. And it really just, it kind of rocked my world. I'm not going to lie, it rocked my world. Those were the words he spoke as he waited for his host to greet him. And then, from a door beside the stove, out walked someone, and the man, he almost fainted in disbelief to see a 6 foot tall, orange skinned, quite lean carrot standing there with an apron tied around its, what I guess you could call its waist, and a little wooden spoon in its tiny carrot hand. I'm sorry. What is happening? What is happening? Hello, dearest. Would you like to join me for this soup? You seem very excited about it, so, there's always enough for two, as they say. This is what the carrot said. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I've never seen a carrot like you before. I've never seen some. I'm sorry. I'm just a bit overwhelmed right now. That's okay, I suppose. There's a first time for everything, as they say. Would you like to join me? If you like, you can just grab a bowl, and there's one actually in that little cupboard, but that you're standing right beside. And there's some spoons there as well, if you like. This is what the carrot said. And so the man, he stood there, and he assessed the situation. And he thought, very, very long and hard for such a short amount of time. And he decided, all right, God, God, you've really won here. You've fucking tricked me, you've fooled me, and just game over. I'm sorry, but this is not what I asked for. So is that a yes? The carrot said, standing very rigid and very still and expectant, somewhat excited to greet its new guest, and also somewhat taken aback by the man's poorly reaction to his mere appearance. No, I'll join you. As I said, I just love cabbage soup. It's my favourite meal. My mum cooked the best cabbage soup ever. And that's great. So the man, he got the bowls out of the cupboard, and he laid the bowls down, his hands shaking rather quickly. The carrot noticed this, of course, but did not say anything. And the man sat down, and he began to talk with the carrot. And he actually realized he rather liked the carrot. The carrot was a funny guy. Who knew? And so the man, having finished his cabbage soup and was very, very satisfied by such a delicious concoction, really, it was top-notch, he realized that it was exactly what he'd asked for. The type of friendship that he'd always hoped for was right at his fingertips. But he just never knew that he might have to befriend what he most despised. Escape he didn't do, but find he most graciously did. And so the carrot and the man struck up a long-lasting and very rich friendship, which consisted of much cabbage soup and a lot of laughter. The end.